The birth of Buddhism, from an Indian prince to a path of enlightenment, followed by millions over 2,500 years ago, in the ancient kingdom of Kapilavastu, near the foothills of the Himalayas, a child was born into royalty. His name was Siddhartha Gautama, a prince destined to inherit power, wealth, and a kingdom. But his story would not end on a throne. It would become something much more profound, a journey of the mind, of suffering, and of awakening. Siddhartha's father, the king, had one goal: to protect his son from all suffering. He built palaces, filled them with pleasure and luxury, and shielded the prince from every sign of pain. No death, no sickness, no old age. But the world, as it always does, found a way in. One day, Siddhartha left the palace. What he saw would change everything: an old man, a sick man, a corpse, and then a wandering monk, serene in poverty. In those brief moments, Siddhartha realized everything he knew was an illusion. Nothing, no pleasure, no palace, could escape suffering. So at age 29, he left it all. His wife, his newborn son, his kingdom. He became a seeker. For 6 years, he lived in the forests of India. He studied under yogis. He fasted until his ribs showed. He meditated until his mind burned with silence. But none of it brought him peace. Then, beneath a Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, he sat. He vowed not to rise until he found the answer. Days passed. Temptations came. Fear, desire, doubt. But he sat still. Until, with the morning star, something shifted. He awakened. He saw the nature of suffering and the way beyond it. He became the Buddha, the awakened one. But he wasn't a god. He never claimed to be. He was a man who understood the mind and how it creates its own prison. What he taught was simple but profound. Life is suffering, but suffering comes from desire. And when you let go of desire, you let go of pain. Not by escaping life, but by seeing it clearly, through compassion, mindfulness, and deep understanding. He called it the middle way. Neither indulgence nor self-denial, just presence and peace. His first sermon was in Sarnath, near Varanasi. 5 ascetics listened. They became the first monks, the first Sangha. Soon, thousands followed him, from kings to beggars, from soldiers to scholars. India had many gods, but now people were drawn to a man who simply said, "Come and see for yourself." For 45 years he walked across northern India, barefoot, teaching, and when he died at age 80, he left behind no temple, no golden legacy, only the Dharma, the teaching, and a community that would carry it far beyond India. After his death, his followers preserved his words through oral recitation. They gathered at the first Buddhist council, trying to agree on the teachings. Over time, Buddhism began to evolve. It split into schools: Theravada, Mahayana, and later Vajrayana. Some focused on monastic life. Others embraced bodhisattvas, beings who delay their own enlightenment to help others awaken. Under the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka, Buddhism reached its golden age in India. Ashoka, once a ruthless conqueror, was transformed by the horror of war. He embraced nonviolence, became a devout Buddhist, and sent monks as far as Sri Lanka and Central Asia. He built stupas, inscribed pillars, and supported the Sangha across his empire. But even as Buddhism spread across Asia, to China, Tibet, Japan, and Southeast Asia, in India, its birthplace, it began to decline. Why? Partly because of the rise of devotional Hinduism, partly due to invasions and changing patronage. Monasteries were destroyed, support faded, and slowly, Buddhism disappeared from Indian soil. Yet it never truly vanished. The teachings lived on, in dusty manuscripts, in chants carried by monks through snowy mountains, in minds seeking clarity. And in the 20th century a wave of revival began. B.R. Ambedkar, a champion for Dalits, India's most oppressed castes, converted to Buddhism, along with millions, seeking dignity, equality, and spiritual freedom. Today, you can still walk where the Buddha walked. Bodh Gaya, Sarnath, Kushinagar, not just places but living echoes of an ancient awakening. Buddhism is no longer just Indian, it's global. A path walked by millions across cultures and continents. But at its heart it remains the same. A man, under a tree, who simply saw things as they were, and smiled.